Hello, and a very warm welcome for today's very special event. We're honoured to be joined today by our Chancellor, His Royal Highness the Duke of Kent. Good afternoon, Chancellor, who will be officially launching the campaign a little later on. And we're delighted to be able to welcome both a live audience here on campus in Guildford, as well as alumni from around the world on our live stream. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the globe. Now, to introduce myself, I'm Professor Jim Al-Khalili, and I hold a distinguished chair in theoretical physics here at Surrey, as well as being a professor of public engagement in science. Some of you may know me best for my work for BBC Radio 4 or for my BBC TV documentaries, but that's not the reason, I hope that's not the reason I've been wheeled out here today. 40 years ago this year, I was a wide-eyed 18-year-old arriving at Surrey as a fresher to start my undergraduate degree in physics. And apart from a couple of years' break as a young researcher when I went elsewhere, I've been here ever since. Through my undergraduate and doctoral studies here and my subsequent academic roles at Surrey, I've developed a lifelong passion for physics and science more broadly, from making sense of the cosmos down to the microcosm and understanding how DNA can store information, and that is what makes us who we are. For me, it's an endless quest to understand more, to find better ways of doing things, to try and solve the big problems of today and tomorrow. And it's big challenges like this that we seek to address through the campaign that we're launching today. For over 50 years, the University of Surrey has been imagining what a better world would look like, then doing the work to make that happen. The Future Says Surrey is our very first university-wide funding campaign, a 3-year drive to raise funds and enthuse volunteers to work with us and pave the way for the future, both for our students and through impactful research that addresses real-world challenges. Over the next hour, you'll hear all about the campaign from leading academics who are working at the cutting edge of sustainability, health, and artificial intelligence. You'll also see a day in the life of a current Surrey student, hear a donor's perspective, as well as join us for the campaign launch moment itself. Very exciting. And we'll close with a musical spectacular, courtesy of our very own Surrey students from the Guildford School of Acting. It's going to be a fantastic hour, I assure you. So to start the proceedings, I'm delighted to introduce our President and Vice-Chancellor, Professor Max Liu, who will tell you all about the Future Says Surrey and how you can get involved and play your part. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim, Your Royal Highness and Chancellor, colleagues, alumni, students, and friends, and one and all. Good afternoon. Whether you're here on the Guildford campus or watching online from around the globe, may I extend my warmest welcome to you all. And we're so delighted to be joined by His Royal Highness, the Duke of Kent, who celebrates 45 years of remarkable service as our Chancellor. So we thank you, sir, for your tremendous contribution and continued support. And today, we're here to mark a special milestone to launch the University of Surrey's first international fundraising campaign. As we heard from Jim, the Future Says Surrey is a 3-year initiative to raise £60 million. It will enable us to define the future, building on existing excellence in education, research, student experience. In turn, and this will further strengthen our global connections and profile. One example of our research excellence is our newly established Institute for People-Centered AI. At Surrey, we're already working alongside public sector agencies and partners such as the BBC and the NHS on projects involving machine learning. Our researchers are also working with industrial partners and investors alike to unlock the potential of AI in health, robotics, cybersecurity, and creative industries. So with more funding, we'll be able to promote an ethical approach that places people at the heart of an inclusive and responsible AI-driven economy and for a safer and fairer society. Another example of a future-facing work is in the field of sustainability. Our Global Center for Clean Air Research already collaborates with people around the world to address the challenges of air pollution. So with additional funding, our goal of clean air for all will become a reality. Our researchers are also creating a bright future for clean energy by prototyping the new generation of solar cells, developing green hydrogen and fuel cell technologies. So this will have a huge implication for the way we heat our homes and power our businesses. And in the field of health, we are investigating the close link between humans and animals. Our researchers are developing the new diagnostics, the new treatment for diseases. And this may help us prevent another pandemic, help improving the quality of life for everybody in an ever-aging society. So all of those projects and many, many more will help shaping the future for a fairer, healthier, and more sustainable world. Alongside advancing our research, we will develop innovative ways to support and nurture our current and future students. We'll provide more scholarships for the brightest minds to come to Surrey to have the exceptional education that otherwise they will have no means to achieve, regardless of their background. As a grateful recipient of 2 scholarships myself, I can promise you, such gifts change lives. They will go on to create a ripple effect that will touch many, many thousands more people. So we will improve learning spaces, support clubs and societies, invest in employability opportunities, which is one of USP, and provide a helping hand to those who experience unexpected hardships during their study. At Surrey, we are very fortunate. Our generous alumni, friends, and supporters have always played an active role in supporting our people in research and education, defining who we are. We have much to thank them for. Their ongoing belief and investment remains an exceptional measure of trust in our capacity to shape the future. And for the last 50 years, we have demonstrated that capacity. Incredible innovators have passed through our doors. For example, it was Professor Arthur Adams, who's here today, who helped make the digital world we live in possible by inventing the quantum strand layer laser. It is Sir Martin Sweeting, who invented the first small satellites that revolutionized the space industry across the world, helped to build many affordable satellites to monitor disasters in the world. We even led a mission to space to remove junk from space. Our researchers at the 5G Innovation Center, among the pioneers of the 5G innovation, and are now leading the development of 6G technologies. We have developed a rapid blood-based PCR test for meningitis, and our music and GSA graduates have won 3 Oscars, 9 BAFTAs, and many Emmys and Grammys. So such an achievement that we're very proud of. It is those achievements in the past that build our global reputation. But this campaign is not about the past, but what comes next. By coming together, we can produce more life-changing graduates and research. We can create that bright future for everyone. And we are about to take the next step. So I hope you join us on this exciting journey. Future Says Surrey. Thank you.
So we've heard some fantastic news about our goals for campaign. But what does this actually mean? I'm delighted to welcome 4 colleagues to explore how campaign will support initiatives at Surrey, which will enable us to design practical, real-world solutions to influence policies and impact positive change, both locally and globally, and to inspire and prepare the next generation of talented leaders and scientists in our student community. So, to start, I'm delighted to introduce Professor Adrian Hilton, Director of the new Surrey Institute for People-Centred Artificial Intelligence. We've all heard about global developments in AI. So, Adrian, can I ask you first to tell us a bit more about this new institute, and in particular, why Surrey is the right place for it?
So, the University of Surrey has been a world leader in artificial intelligence for over 3 decades, pioneering groundbreaking technologies. AI is impacting all of our lives and has a huge potential to address the global challenges that face society. Advances in AI have been driven by scientific endeavour to create machines that are intelligent. However, today's AI is not designed to be inclusive or responsible. Instead of a pure technology-driven AI, we need to put people at the heart of future research to ensure that AI delivers human values. At Surrey, we're taking a radical new approach to shape future AI, designed to empower individuals and address global, people-centred challenges, such as fair access to education and trusted information, healthcare for all, financial inclusion, sustainability, and how future society will live, work, play, and create. Our newly established Surrey Institute for People-Centred AI is leading this global change by bringing together expertise in AI with social, health, and engineering sciences. For example, Surrey is combining our world-leading sleep research with advances in AI to deliver personalised care for those living with dementia, improving the quality of life for some of the most vulnerable in society. We've pioneered advances in personalised media to improve accessibility and social inclusion, such as the world's first AI capable of live sign language translation. Surrey will lead people-centred AI to influence policy, research, education, and innovation, ensuring that AI truly becomes a force for good. We welcome your support with this significant endeavour to address major societal challenges and opportunities. The future says Surrey.
Thank you very much, Adrian. Well, we've heard about how our research has both a local and global impact with the potential to change the world. But how can we continue to ensure that we're living well? Next, I'm pleased to introduce Professor Paul Townsend, Pro Vice-Chancellor and Executive Dean of the Faculty of Health and Medical Sciences, to talk about some of the projects on the theme of One Health. Paul.
Thanks, Jim. So, good afternoon, everybody. I think it's an understatement to say that we live in a challenging world at the moment. And I think if you look at what we're doing across the globe, there is a huge race against nature, against disease, where we try and find cures for cancer, cures for diabetes, cures for dementia, cures for living well and living better and living longer. At Surrey, a lot of those activities are actually ongoing at incredible pace. We are finding some cures for some diseases. We can't do them all, but what we do, we do it incredibly well. Our aim is to live better, is to live longer, and to understand how to live our lives in the realms of AI, in the realms of sustainability, and indeed how we can live with our families and our communities. So what are we actually doing about it? So I've went through everything that we do, and I've got a list here, and I had pages. Okay, so this is just some of the key successes. We're prioritising an initiative called One Health, where animals and plants, they share an environment and they learn and live with one another. But we've taken that one step further. We bring in the animals, we bring in the plants, we bring in the environment, but we also bring in their health and their wellness and their nutrition. And we call this One Health, One Medicine. And that is a new Surrey vision. Our track record of real-world solutions is unbelievably fantastic. The Vice-Chancellor talked about blood tests for meningitis. We've got blood tests for COVID. We've got blood tests for prostate cancer. We've been able to develop techniques that have less intervention and are much more comfortable, for want of a better phrase, for the early detection of bowel cancer. We've got world-renowned research that does influence what we call early detection and early diagnosis. The earlier we detect a change in our wellness or in our health, the earlier we can intervene. We've got more efficient and safer ways of undertaking x-rays. We've developed eSmart, which is a monitoring digital technology where cancer patients can actually help themselves, helping the community and helping the professions monitor their diagnosis. And under expertise research where our animal care and well-being is actually being used to inform what we need to do for humans in the future. So this is fantastic. So where are the impacts? The impacts are that we're currently designing and working on a human mini-brain. I can't go into all the details, but it's the best out there in the world. We've got scientists who are developing the release of vaccines, which help people in remote parts of the world, in villages, where they can be given a single slow release, where they don't have to have annual boosters. We understand that human health, as I said, is very closely linked to animal health, to plant health, and our shared environment. And we have that One Health, One Medicine vision. It's a really exciting time. It's a really exciting time for our researchers, our students. We're developing the workforce of the future because we have the answer. We have the answer to an incredible amount of problems, and it is time for Surrey to succeed.
Thank you, Paul. Well, I certainly think the last 2 years of the pandemic have really brought into focus just how important medical science is going to be for us today and in the future. Another topic that's so important to our future generations and increasingly to all of us is sustainability. So I'd like to introduce Professor Bob Nicol, Pro Vice-Chancellor and Executive Dean of the Faculty of Engineering and Physical Sciences, to talk about the work that Surrey is doing in the field of sustainability. Bob.
Thank you, Jim. I think anybody who's watched The Green Planet over the last few months will realize what a beautiful planet we live on. You may also be aware that the last 7 years have been the hottest on record. So climate change is coming. As an astronomer, I'm privileged to know how rare our planet is, and therefore we have to live on it sustainably. To coin a phrase, there is no plan B. So, what are we doing? So I'm proud to say in my faculty, we've got experts working on the next generation of technologies to develop clean and effective energy. One that particularly makes me excited is the idea of making polymer solar cells that you could almost wear on your clothes. Across the university, we've got colleagues who are looking at the common pollutants that are affecting us as we go around our daily life, things like the cars polluting the air and even the microplastics that we're putting into the oceans. And across the university, our scholars are working on changing our behaviors, because the only way we're going to actually be sustainable is that we all take responsibility for our own planet. And I'm also very proud to say the university has signed up to being net zero by 2030. So what can we do? So as a university, we can educate your children, our children, in the risks that we pose to our own planet. We can also give them the skills and the experience and the confidence to find the solution to those problems. And finally, I'm very proud to announce that we have just recently launched our new Institute of Sustainability, and that will hopefully deliver for the whole university, for our region, and most importantly, for our planet. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much. And now we move on to our final speaker. I'm pleased to introduce Lucy Evans, Chief People Officer, to talk a little bit about how Campaign will be of benefit to our student community. Lucy, can you tell us why Campaign is so important for our students?
Thank you, Jim. Hi, everyone. It's lovely to see you all. I'm so inspired to hear about the things that our university is leading the way on. I hope you'll agree. It's been incredible hearing this. But even more inspiring to me every day at the university are our students. And our students will be the future leaders to develop on these ideas, take forward new initiatives into the future, and really change the world. Just want to briefly talk about our students' journey with us and the areas this campaign will focus on for them. So we attract the brightest and most curious minds, and we want to do more of this by opening more doors to the most talented students regardless of background, those who never thought university would be possible. We want to help our students come to Surrey to be part of a genuine, inclusive community. We want our students to learn and expand their knowledge, ask questions, grow and develop. This means our spaces and places need to enable this, and our teaching environments need to be innovative and purposeful. So our students should develop as individuals and thrive as part of a learning community. Education is fundamental to what we do here, but it is more than that. We want to support the whole experience that our students, to enable them to grow as global citizens. So we want to support clubs and societies and volunteering. We want to break down barriers that can affect the student experience, such as financial hardship. Our students will graduate from Surrey ready to take on the world and set up to excel in their chosen professions. Through placements and internships at Surrey, we're so well known for and award-winning, and we have the most employable graduates. We're really so proud of our students, and we want to continue to make sure that they can fulfill their potential. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy. Well, thank you all for sharing your insightful snapshots. I know you only all had 2 minutes each as to why a campaign is so vital for the university. Can I check, Amintha, how much time do we have for questions? Right, good, thank you. Well, maybe it's very... Yes, did you know we were going to have...
No, I'm saying Paul used it all up.
Just very quickly, I mean, maybe Paul and Lucy, address this to you both. Maybe you can say a few words about what sort of difference this sort of funding can make in your area. Paul.
So for me, so you've heard the words AI and you've heard the word sustainability. I think healthcare is incredibly expensive, both actually in purchasing and economics, but also on the environment, on the patients and on the family. And if we can have sustainable health and wellness and sustainable medicine, where it's not so challenging for the workforce, then we've got a solution. And for me, the way that the campaign will really help here is in our aspirations to develop a state-of-the-art undergraduate medical degree program. And we're looking at how to develop the doctors of the future who have the skills right now in AI, understand sustainability, are able to communicate, and they will drive medicine going forward. Rather than reading from a book, these will be people who will be developing technologies, and that is what the campaign can help.
Thank you. Lucy, for the student population, what can it do?
So I spoke a minute ago about breaking down barriers, and I think this is what thanks to the generosity of our alumni and our donors, we've genuinely been able to do that for our students. We've had scholarships where students have been able to come to university in the first place. Just never would have come otherwise. I mean, that genuinely we have our students come through in that, and hopefully we'll hear from some of them today, actually. And the other thing that my teams also work really closely with students on are where life takes an unexpected turn. And our Student Hardship Fund can make the difference there between students having money so they're not able in a position where they're choosing between food and paying their rent. That genuinely is what we see on a regular basis. We want to help them, to support them to manage that so that they can focus on their studies and really thrive. And thanks to the donors and alumni that we've had, that has really made a difference for our students.
Thank you. I mean, I guess for things like hardship fund for students, or certainly advances in developing science for our health, it's sort of obvious how it's going to affect our daily lives. But maybe, Adrian and Bob, I mean, something like AI, we hear a lot about it, we see a lot of science fiction movies. How can some of the research in the new institute really benefit society?
So it's about the same story. It's about people, and putting people at the heart of that. And that's not just the scientists and engineers who are involved now, but it's the whole plethora of people across the health sciences, across sustainability, inspiring that next generation to come in and lead those technologies. And to do that, we need to reshape how AI is, and we need a diversity of people in that. So things like scholarships to enable people, to include people in that story, are absolutely critical to the way forward.
Thank you. And Bob, sustainability is a buzzword we hear a lot these days, but what does it mean in terms of the average person out there?
Well, I mean, hopefully we've all seen it on the TV and we've all read the newspapers about what's happening on our planet. I think for me, the Institute really tries to break down those barriers between the disciplines that we have right now. I mean, I guess I would ask, anybody out there has done a degree in sustainability? No, we've all done degrees in maths, or we've done degrees in biology, and the tools to solve sustainability are across all the disciplines. And the Institute will bring those disciplines together and make it a melting pot. And what I hope is that we do create the next generation of people that go out and will say, I learned how to make the planet sustainable. Because all the skills are there, we just need to put them on the table together and educate jack of all trades rather than experts in one particular discipline.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you all very much for joining us. Please, another round of applause for my colleagues here. Thank you. Thank you. Now, as Lucy just explained a moment ago, philanthropy really does have the power to change lives. In a real sense, so it's more than just words. I'd like to introduce you to Anwar. Anwar is the very first recipient of the Battersea Scholarship, a bursary generously funded by alumni from Battersea College of Technology, the forerunner of the institution that is today the University of Surrey. Originally from Kenya, Anwar was estranged from his family when he came to Surrey. Sadly, back in December, his mother died. So the financial aid from this scholarship was a lifeline to help Anwar at an incredibly difficult time in his life. In this short film, we'll see a day in Anwar's life as a first-year student on our BSc Business Management course. And we'll hear about the difference that scholarships like this make in supporting students like Anwar.
Hi, my name is Anwar. I'm from London, but currently I'm studying in University of Surrey in Guildford. I'm doing business management, and this is my first year. It was mind-blowing the moment when I received the email that I was able to get a scholarship. It was a turning point for me. I had nothing, I had no support from family, did you get me? So when the email came, it was just, I don't know what to say. My day start very early in the morning, get ready, prepare to pray, get ready to rock and roll to the gym. By 8 in the morning, we make sure that we're out of the gym, ready to prepare to head to Stargill for our 9 a.m. lectures. Take the bus straight to Stargill. Most of the time in the morning I have 2 lectures. So after my second lecture, just come straight to the hive, have my lunch here. After I have my lunch, straight to the library. Oh, the library is so useful. I've enrolled in a lot of societies actually. I've got salsa dance, which is every Thursday. I've got ballroom dance, which is after salsa on the same day. So in a typical day that I don't have any society, when I get back home, some of my mates come over. We chill, have fun, have a chat. The good thing about it is just Monopack feels like a sense of community. My aim is to give back to the community. That's what I'm gonna do in the future. Back in Kenya actually, where I was born, the Battersea Scholarship really take me to somewhere that I don't think I'll have managed without it. And I'm so grateful for the donors. Being a first Battersea scholar, I'm so honored. Thank you very much. There are many other students like me who need support to get to where they want to be in life. Not everyone can do it alone, and not everyone has families to support them. I hope that donors continue to give so that others can experience this too.
What an inspiring film you've just seen. I mean, that scholarship was funded by graduates of Battersea coming together to raise funds, and they had the idea for a scholarship, and we are delighted that the first scholarship has been awarded this year. And of course, this campaign is more than just celebration, though you need to enjoy today. It's about raising money, and you might find yourself feeling a little awkward and asking yourself, well, why should I support Surrey? And so, to help you answer that question, let's hear directly from some of our donors. And I'm delighted to introduce to the stage Chris and Lynette Braithwaite and Falarin Oyeleye. Now, Chris is a 1979 civil engineering graduate, and he and his wife, Lynette, have been supporting Surrey for over a decade now. Now, Falarin graduated a little bit later in 2006 from electrical engineering, and his time at Surrey was not only president of the Students' Union, but was a student caller on one of our early telephone campaigns. Now, what is a telephone campaign? Well, this is something that we do annually, and it's a wonderful event. It's where current students come together over a period of about 4 to 5 weeks and call up our alumni and have a chat and update them about what's going on at the university now, help them relive some of their memories, and then also inquire about how they might want to support the university. And as you've heard, that can be through giving back or through volunteering to support the many activities that are happening here. Now, Chris, tell me a little bit about your first experience with a call from one of the telephone campaigns a few years back.
Well, first thing to say is it seems remarkable to hear that it's been over 40 years since I graduated here. And actually, although I had an extremely happy time here at Surrey, created lots of friends here, it was that I lost touch with the university for 30 years or more. And as you say, I was contacted out of the blue by a young student called Cameron over 10 years ago now. And the timing of that call was remarkably good because we'd reached a stage where I was finishing full-time work, and I'd had a very lucky business career, and the instinct was to give something back. And one thing led to another, one conversation led to another, and I said to Cameron, look, I think I can help the university, I'm ready for that. Just a year before, we'd actually started a family foundation, charitable foundation, so the timing was good from that perspective. And it started a 10-plus year journey with Surrey, where we've supported in all sorts of ways with scholarships to support research and so on. The timing was fantastic, and it all started with that phone call.
I mean, I think that highlights, the importance of the telephone campaign in opening those sort of doors. But I said at the beginning that both you and Lynette were supporters of the university. And of course, Lynette, you're not an alumna of Surrey, but in the few years that I've been here, clearly you're very much part of the Surrey family. How did that come about?
Well, you're absolutely right. I graduated on the other side of the world, and sons graduated elsewhere. But I was there when Chris took the phone call from Cameron for, what's this about? And we came down here to Surrey and met people, and over these 10 years, I've really been brought into it. I'm able to look at the ambitions of our foundation and with Surrey match those together, which is a lot about helping young people find their futures. And in the course of doing that, my involvement in Surrey has been a very fulfilling and rewarding experience. I couldn't ask for more.
And I hope as well you've found a very warm welcome from the staff and students that you've met in your time.
Always.
That's great to hear. I mean, Chris, you touched on this about what you'd supported in terms of your giving, and I know that you've been both of you have been strong supporters of research here. But I also think that your giving revolves around creating opportunities for students. Why is that important to you?
It was always one of the aims of our foundation to help young people find their futures, particularly moving into work, but whether that is research or, as we've done, help some into the NHS in medical physics. These were very significant issues for us, and we could see that at Surrey that would happen by funding scholarships, whether it was in, as I say, to move into medical physics. That's been one of the things that's very dear to my heart, or to do things which Chris felt were more important.
Yeah, it was. It's been incredibly rewarding for us personally as well, because what's come out of this is new relationships as well. So I'd like to think that in the vast majority of cases, as you've heard earlier this afternoon, that we've supported students that otherwise wouldn't have been able to do the courses they did, or to make the studies and further themselves. And what's really gratifying for us is that in almost all cases, these students, not only have they've said how much they appreciated the opportunity, they've stayed in touch as well. And we've become friends, and they routinely send us Christmas messages, and they're always very grateful for that first opportunity. So for us, that's been, very rewarding.
I think it's so important that those relationships develop, because you can then see all the good that's being done. Falarin, you started giving back to Surrey very soon after you graduated. I mean, how did that come about?
So there are a number of reasons. I think just having been a telephone campaigner, the first thing was the knowledge of what that whole process was like, and the impact that every little you give can have to a student's life or to the university, I think was probably one of the top reasons. The second reason was through my time at university, I had been through some hardship, and being an international student, I'd gone to a number of different places looking for help, and at the time, there wasn't a student hardship fund available to support international students, so I kind of found myself in a little bit of a sticky position. So I wanted to make sure that international students would never have that type of experience again, where they wouldn't be able to have somewhere to turn to. And then I think the third reason is just the opportunity that Surrey gave me from the very first day I walked onto campus, through to graduation, through post my student year of residency. There's just been lots of doors that have been open, and I think I'd love lots of other people to go through exactly the same experience that I did as well.
Well, I mean, it's a delight to hear that the support you got early on has set you on the route to success. And we heard a little earlier from Lucy Evans, Chief Student Officer, about quite the impact that the broad range of support for students, from scholarships to bursaries to hardship funds, can do in setting Surrey students on that important path to success. Thank you, Chris, Lynette, Falarin, for coming today to share your experiences with some of my colleagues, and showing that, you know, giving back can change lives, and change the lives of past, present, and future students. And I suppose that's the message I'd like to leave everybody with, that you too can change the lives of future students by getting involved with the campaign. The Future Says Surrey. Thank you.
We've reached that point in proceedings where, certainly for our audience here in the marquee, and we can hear for those online, what they're probably not aware of is that the wind is picking up outside. Certainly backstage, everything's really shaking. You'll keep worrying things going to, but it's not going to collapse. I've been in worse marquees with stronger winds than this, don't worry. But it's the time for everyone here, to the in-person audience, to make your way outside, if you dare, outside the mic for our launch moment. For our online viewers, you're about to see a short film, but don't worry, you won't miss any of the excitement. Rejoining live to our outside broadcast, where everyone will be able to witness the final countdown to the campaign launch.
University is not just a place for learning.
Education is not only found in textbooks.
And the student experience extends far beyond lectures and seminars.
University is a hotbed of life experience.
And everything that comes with it.
It's a home of discovery, understanding, and exploration.
It's a place to learn who you are, what you want, and where you're going.
It's library slogs.
And morning jogs.
It's the highest heights.
Movie nights.
And new delights. It's books and cooks.
And the classes you took.
It's ideas, fears, and cheers.
It is learning,
laughter,
everything in between. And sometimes just
laying on the grass.
A home for success,
hard work, and friendship alike. And now, it's new types of learning.
In unforeseen time.
It's finding ways around.
As a flat.
A team.
A class.
A community.
Not just a place of education.
But one for our well-being too.
One for our security.
One that caters.
And cares.
And cleans.
And keeps us safe.
A place that gives us not only answers,
but opens our eyes to more questions.
More ideas. More perspectives. And more wonder.
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 Not a destination.
By any means.
But a journey.
Of a different kind.
And we'll be right there with you.
For this step.
The next, and every one after that.
All of us.
Together.
Each of us.
Forever. Forever Surrey.
Forever Surrey.
Forever Surrey.
Forever Surrey.
Forever Surrey.
As Chair of the University's Council, I'd like to extend my personal thanks to you all for joining us today. In just a moment, we'll launch Future Says Surrey, the first international fundraising campaign in our history, ambitious in its scope and global in its reach and impact. To mark this prestigious moment, we've worked with our partners at Stagecoach to use a campus bus to promote the campaign, as you can see behind. You'll certainly not miss that driving around campus. The bus celebrates the many achievements of our past, as well as everything that we're hoping to do in the future. And without further ado, it's my great honour to invite the Chancellor, His Royal Highness the Duke of Kent, to officially launch the Future Says Surrey. Sir, could I invite you to take your place as we start the countdown to the campaign?
10,
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we've launched. Thank you all very much for joining us today and marking this exciting moment in Surrey's history. We're delighted you've chosen to be part of the Future Says Surrey, and we look forward to hearing from you if you'd like to find out more. Well, to end today's official proceedings, of course, everyone here at the live event is coming streaming back in for the reception, but at the end of the proceedings, officially, we have a very special, uplifting performance by our talented GSA singers from the Guildford School of Acting. Take it away.
In dreams he came.
within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes. And it's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down. I'm through accepting limits, 'cause someone says they're so. Some things I cannot change until I try. Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I guess I'm lost. Well, if that love becomes that much too high a cost, soon I might defy gravity. Kiss me goodbye, I'm defying gravity, and you can't pull me down. So if you can't defy me, fly to the western sky. Has someone told me lately, everyone deserves a chance to fly. And if I'm flying so low, at least I'm flying free. To those who ground me, take a lesson from me. Tell them how I defy gravity. I'm flying high, I'm defying gravity. I was cheated by you, and I think you know it. So I made up my mind, it must come to an end. Look at me now, will I ever learn? I don't know how, but I suddenly lose control. There's a fire within my soul. Just one look and I can hear a bell ring. One more look and I forget everything. Whoa, Mamma Mia, here I go again. My, how can I resist you? Mamma Mia, does it show again? My, just how much I miss you. Yes, I'm broken-hearted, blue since the day we parted. Why did I ever let you go? Mamma Mia, now I really know. My, I could never let you go. God on high, hear my prayer in my need. You have always been there. He is young, he's afraid. Let him rest, heaven blessed. Bring him home, bring him home, bring him home. He's like the sun I might You can't stop an avalanche as it races down the hill. You can try to stop the seasons, girl, but you know you never will. And you can try to stop my dancing feet, but I just cannot stand still. 'Cause the world keeps spinning round and round, and my heart keeps in time to the speed of the sound. I was lost till I heard the drums and I found my way. 'Cause you can't stop the beat. Ever since this whole world began, a woman found out that she can shake up a man. So I'm gonna shake and shimmy in the best that I can today. You can't stop the motion of the ocean or the sun in the sky. You can wonder if you wanna, but I'll never ask why. If you try to hold me down, I'm gonna spit in your eye and say, you can't stop the beat. Song.